Very pleased to welcome to the show Michaia Walker. The name of the book, A Narrative Rewritten. It's a collection of Michaia's poems, reflections, letters, and blog entries, and it touches on all kinds of topics of hurt, healing, and hope, ultimately around sexual abuse and incest. Tough topics. The idea of the writings, it's formatted to guide the reader through the dredges of hurt and ultimately to get to hope. The book was written to help other survivors not feel as alone. Michaia is proudly identifying as Black, queer, non-binary. Michaia works as a licensed therapist in New York. The practice, it's interesting, focuses on consulting, coaching, and therapy, of course, with individuals, and couples, those in non-traditional relationships. Also, what's very interesting to me, the work Michaia does with the deaf and hard of hearing, that community. Michaia, thank you so much for coming on the show. A Narrative Rewritten, it's so unique. And the first thing that popped into my mind in reading the poems and the letters and those blog entries is, how did you come up with the idea of doing it in this fashion, doing a narrative rewritten?
That's such a good question. So the initial birth, I guess, of this book was a writing boot camp, and we were just told to follow certain prompts and see what came out, and this was starting to come out of me. The way that I decided to organize it and put everything together was how my brain works as a neurodivergent individual. So sometimes I function in colors and sometimes I function in words. And so that's where the combination of poetry and prose and just like personal journal things all came together, because it was a combination of how I think, how I experience the world, and also how I communicate.
Yeah, and the book deals with so much that is, let's face it, there's so much silence around what you tackle in the book. It's just not shared. Does it feel good to you, or is this part of it, of getting it out into the world to let other people know it's okay? You can come into the light, you can heal?
Absolutely. It's been really powerful to see the response that I've been getting from people, both inside my personal circle and out. And that's just been mind-blowing for me, especially 2 years later after publishing and then republishing this book, because initially it wasn't something that I was hoping that people would find.
Oh, and during that time period of republishing it, there was, as we talked off the air, a 10-year gap. How much has changed in your life in that 10-year period? I would imagine you've grown in different directions, maybe even.
Absolutely. No. So much has changed in that 10-year period. Obviously, a lot of healing, a lot of therapy, a lot of work on myself. The work that I've been doing as a therapist has also changed, because I was working primarily with, the time that I started writing this, I was working primarily with people who were survivors of crime, including sexual assault, children that have been victimized, et cetera, and so forth. So that was my primary work. And now, as you read out in my introduction, I do so much more than that. And I think that this book was kind of the beginning of my ability to start exploring my different identities. And so I would be able to provide my lived-in professional experience for working with people in these communities, because we all share the same identities.
When people read your book, what do you hope they take away?
I hope that they take away, ironically, hope, which is the third section of the book. Whether that's hope that they can have a better future, hope that they're able to explain themselves, share their story, whatever they need to do. But the fact that things don't have to be as dark and as heavy as they are or as they have been is something that I hope that they take away.
How rewarding is it as a therapist to work with people and then have them come through, find that hope, and come out, for lack of a better way to say it, sort of on the other side? What is that like for you?
So exciting. I have a joke with my clients where, one of the things I encourage my clients to do is celebrate every little win. Like, you got up today, you took your medication, you ate, we're going to celebrate that. When big stuff comes up, it's like, actually get people to move their bodies. So sometimes we'll do like a dance party and stuff like that. But this, I say as a joke, I do say this is a joke, but it's really something that's helpful for my clients as well, is when we've gotten to a point where they feel like they need to either reduce or terminate their sessions with me, we're like, you know what? You graduated therapy, with the acknowledgement that obviously therapy is something that you can go in and out of as many times as you need to.
I love that you graduated therapy, celebrating those wins for sure. And one thing I didn't mention is that you work closely with the deaf and hard of hearing community too. You're a signing therapist. I don't think I've ever met a signing therapist, but of course there are. What's that like?
Love my work with the deaf and hard of hearing community. Honestly, like, that's where my heart is. It's beautiful to be able to provide services in ASL, which is basically like the natural native language of deaf and hard of hearing individuals. They don't have a lot of options. So whenever somebody finds me or they reach out to me like on behalf of like a family member or a friend or et cetera, I just get really excited that they saw that my information is out there and that they're willing to connect with me. But the majority of my work up to this point of being in private practice has been with deaf and hard of hearing families and children, and it's the most beautiful thing. I love it.
When you started your journey, did you think that you would end up where you are right now?
Absolutely not. So the fact that I have a private I'm serious. The fact that I have a private practice, the fact that I'm working with populations that share my personal identities, the fact that I have written and republished this book with my name on it, none of that was stuff that I would have ever imagined for myself, especially 10 years ago.
Yeah, wow. Congratulations on that. Again, the book is A Narrative Rewritten. You can get it any way you like it, Kindle, paperback, etc. You can go to Amazon. And what's your website?
The website, that's a really great question. I think it's Gotham Books /Michaia Walker, but if you just Google Gotham Books Michaia Walker, you're going to see my website.
Excellent. Do you think as a society that we're growing more, or is there more acceptance? Because we're in a very weird state right now. As I talk about on my show, do you think that there is more hope?
I would say absolutely. We are in a very weird time, and so it's been an interesting, experience to see more people struggling, or at least openly struggling, but then also seeing there's so many more services and different types of services that, again, didn't even exist 10 years ago, or weren't as widespread. So I definitely do see an improvement in the amount of services, access to those services, and the amount of people who are willing to seek those services.
Yeah. And we talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but so creative to do the poems, the reflections, the letters, the blogs, and again, that's the name is perfect, A Narrative Rewritten. Pretty interesting to do it that way. Did it feel good to have that out there after seeing that? And we talked about the 10 years and then the republishing. Does it feel good to have it out in that format?
It does. It's really, like I said, it's just so close to the way that my brain works. But I think the very, very best part of this is the fact that my dear friend Peter did the artwork for each section. And when I republished it, I also wrote a little introduction for each section. And so that really helps guide the reader to what I was trying to communicate when I first wrote this book. But I feel like the artwork really brings it together in the best possible way. And that's the most exciting part of this for me.
Well done. Definitely. Go get this book, A Narrative Rewritten, a collection of personal writings for adult survivors of incest and sexual abuse. Very powerful. Michaia Walker, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. I am so happy that we were able to talk this morning.